Hi Shaggers, I'm AyeforScotland and welcome to this preview of Autopsy Simulator. That's right, you saw this video and you're a little sicko and you wanted to watch me cut up a dead body. Thanks very much to Team 17 for sending me this. I am morbidly intrigued by what we're going to see today, so we're just going to dive right in. They have a story mode and they actually just revealed the news that there's going to be like an endless autopsy mode coming out later this year, which is quite interesting. So we'll jump in. First off, I will check my settings. They did tell me there is a nudity sensor, so that terms of service doesn't hammer me into the ground. I'm going to slightly increase the subtitles text for people who would like to read the subtitles. And yeah, we'll get started. We're just going to see what like the first section's going to be like. The game releases tomorrow, and as of the time of recording, that is I'm on the 5th, so it's the 6th of June that it releases. So we're going to play through the prologue, we'll see how long it is, and we'll get going.
Dr. Jack Hampton is speaking. How can I help you?
Good evening, this is Kate Brooks. I'm not sure if you remember me. A few weeks ago, we talked about an article I'm working on. It's about your wife. I dropped by last Friday to speak to you, but you weren't working at the time. I asked the security guard to pass on a note for me. I would like us to discuss the topic of...
I thought I had made it painfully obvious for the last time. No! Please don't call me again and stop inquiring about my wife. Damn journalists. They don't let me work.
Damn journalists.
I'm not in the best frame of mind to record a lecture for my students now. I'm feeling completely broken.
It's got good emotional intelligence. Knows that he's completely broken.
Stephen didn't clean up after himself again.
Is Stephen the one that's smoking? Let's see. What do we got? Hi, this is... In fact, we can hit R to read, and that's nice. I like the accessible text that a lot of these games now have. Hi, this is Kate Brooks, a reporter for the New Orleans Weekly. I couldn't find you at home. I'm starting to suspect you're avoiding me, Mr. Hanman. Anyway, as you know, we'd like to write an article commemorating your wife's achievements. We'd be delighted to talk to you about it. Along with this note, I'm also leaving my business card. Let me call you this evening. I hope to find you at home or at the office. Regards, Kay Brooks. Is it New Orleans or is it Nolans?
They definitely pay me too little for this.
Okay. We can check individual. Is this going to be like the... What was the mortuary game that scared the shit out of me? What's this? Can I read that? It kind of looks like I should be able to pick that up, but look, all I can do is open and close the drawers at the moment. We've got Jack Daniels in there. What's in this one? Cool.
Awful. It would be good to finally repair the coffee machine.
Okay.
Wednesday. It's not my favorite day, although it's certainly better than Monday.
Holy shit, and it's Wednesday today.
In another life.
Oh. Oh, that's really fast. Woo! Cool. Sorted. And we've got a light. Sound. Right, to the bathroom. There's the bathroom. Check the... What the fuck? No one's cleaned in here in a while. Broken mirror.
Okay.
Always a good sign.
Time to pull myself together.
Oh, for once a game where he doesn't just down all of the pills at once.
I need to set the camera first.
Take the camera from the storage room. There's storage there.
This place is starting to look like a hoarder's dream, rather than a storage room. Now remember, Jack, don't forget to hit the record button this time.
The amount of times I have done that for YouTube. Place it on the tripod in the dissecting room. Let's go!
Hopefully the new tripod is going to hold up.
So the nudity sensor pixelates genitalia. I think that's it. Might do boobs as well.
No, I just have to get everything in frame. This should be fine. November 20th, 1991. Time, 8:43 p.m. Recording for medical students from the University of Missouri. This autopsy is conducted by Jack Hanman. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the autopsy room. Today, you will have the dubious pleasure of following a full autopsy, step by step. For those of you who have already performed your first autopsy, this will refresh your basic knowledge. In turn, for those whose knowledge is only theoretical, I advise not to watch this after a meal.
Oh. Autopsy people banter. That's good. Look at the chalkboard. Chalkboard is here. So we've got an apron, masks, gloves, goggles, and disinfection. So actually this is a thing I can raise. So this game has been made with like complete accuracy in mind, right? So like everything kind of like anatomically correct, the stuff that you'll be seeing. I think the devs worked with like a team of experts around it, so it's going to be kind of wild.
Let's start.
Okay, so tell students what is important in this profession. So
always wear an apron, mask, and gloves. Goggles are a must when the job is splashy. And in case of sharp accidents, it's worth having disinfectants at hand. It's true that you won't get ptomaine poisoning straight away, but if your liver or kidney aren't doing well, you may end up with diarrhea.
God, diarrhea, the worst.
The cadaver is placed on its back on the autopsy table. The pathologist stands on the right of the deceased. Make sure that all the necessary tools are always at hand so that you don't have to run around looking for something, like I do all the time. In the process of reviewing and securing forensic evidence, it is difficult not to interfere with the original condition of the deceased. Written and photographic documentation plays a vital role throughout the entire examination process. During your research, be patient, inquisitive, but above all, attentive to detail. Many entries are visible at first glance, but sometimes they can be cover for more interesting stories. And lastly, remember that nothing teaches you self-narration like working with the dead. So get used to that fact soon. Everyone will think you're talking to yourself.
Nice.
Now, onto the police folder. That will contain all sorts of pertinent information as to who the deceased might be and what potentially happened to them. So, let's take a closer look, shall we?
Police folder it is. Okay, look through the information provided in the police folder. So,
the deceased's name is Tobias Chambers, locally known as Old Toby. Homeless and unemployed for at least a couple of years.
Okay, that's food coupons.
The deceased was found on the outskirts of a parking lot at a gas station, where he often begged and persistently offered drivers to wash their car windows.
Okay.
The body was noticed by a station employee during the morning shift. Initially, he thought that someone had thrown some boots and a coat in a nearby ditch. It took him a moment to recognize the pile of clothes as the body of a man. He worked most of his life at the local port dealing with unloaded cargo. He was fired for being drunk and starting fights. His son runs a hardware store on his own. His wife left him years ago. They both had no contact with the deceased.
It's like you got all that from the Red Tools hardware store business card? He's reading the... Okay, I see.
Signs of libation were found around the body. Empty bottles, traces of an inept attempt to start a fire, and a scattered makeshift blanket.
Okay.
That's it.
That is it?
It's worth remembering the context around the scene of a death. This allows you to better interpret any traces found on the body. I shouldn't start the procedure without gloves.
Gloves it is.
Now it's our turn to take some pictures for our files. If I can just remember where I left the camera.
Desk drawer.
Somewhere.
As in the desk drawer in here?
Aha, there you are.
Cool.
I knew it was here somewhere. As I mentioned at the beginning, before we begin the internal examination, we need to document the cadaver and the condition it arrived in. We begin with a full body photo. Try and stick to the top-down rule, but this is not always possible. Let's keep in mind it's all about the legibility, not the perfect frame.
How do we do the top-down aspect of this? Is this top-down? Yeah?
Voila, now we move on to the next step.
Sure.
Looking for traces. Take your time. Look at the corpse from different sides, from different angles, up close, and from a distance. You're looking for anything out of the ordinary.
I like that they've worked the narration of the guy just narrating to himself, and obviously he's doing it for a recording that he's doing for a lecture, but that also works really well in a tutorial kind of standpoint. I mean, that's a mark on the body, surely. He scraped his knee to bits. I mean, there's a mark there. That's like a cut.
Old wound. Looks old. I'll take a closer look later.
Okay. Does make me wonder what they'll find on my body when I'm dead. Not that I expect to be dead to the point where I need to be autopsied, but be like, oh, look at this guy. He's had his appendix removed.
Of the feet and signs of frostbite, probably because the subject's shoes were too small.
Okay. What else we got? Oh, we had something on his hand there. It's like frostbite on his
hands, worn out by physical work and frostbite.
I was gonna say his hands look a little bit fucked. Okay, there's gotta be, yeah, there's something there. Oof.
That's something interesting. It will be necessary to check whether this injury was severe enough to cause damage to the brain.
Okay.
In a moment, we will check which of our initial observations will be worthy of further consideration. But before we get to
the photos to the photo
I need to
board.
write down some basic data.
Head, stomach, old wound, general, and hand. Perform the autopsy. Sure.
Scalpel, scissors, syringe, magnifying glass, knife. I guess I forgot to clean the knife.
What? Why would you not?
Scalpel.
Can I? It does just say start the autopsy. Is that via this board or? Okay.
Personal information.
There we go.
The deceased was unclothed. Date. Okay. As you can see, I note everything down on previously prepared forms. Every pathologist must keep a detailed record of every step of the autopsy. This not only allows you to track the procedure, but also collates the results together, upon which you may back up your conclusions. So, enough of the boring prep. Let's begin by taking a closer look at the spots I photographed earlier. For this, you're going to need a magnifying glass.
Tab for oh, cool.
Which spot first?
Let's go for the head. What's going on here?
On the deceased man's head. The appearance indicates the intravital nature of the wound. Add alcohol, which I can clearly smell, and this was an accident just waiting to happen.
Okay, so fell and hit his head is up there
Looks
for
like a burn mark.
a
No doubt
possibility.
painful, but it's
Yeah,
not
it's
pertinent for this
burn.
case.
I said that was a cut before. Already failing my autopsy class. Now let's
Here we
check
can
its
see
hands.
frostbite on the fingertips. We can tell by the characteristics.
Oh, it was
of the
frostbite.
color.
Nice. Ah, okay. Maybe I'm back on track now. Frostbite on his foot as
Definitely
well.
a painful mix of frostbite,
Oh, you
abrasions,
fucker.
and blisters. Old Toby had been wearing shoes too small for him for a very long time. That's if he wore any at all. So far, there are a lot of superficial wounds, but only one serious injury to the head. Let's go back to our notes.
Okay, back to the notes. Shift for
First, I'll
clipboard.
mark the location of the injuries and make notes for each one. So, the head wound. Definitely an important clue. This is something we'll investigate first.
Yeah, I'd say that's the
Even though
biggie.
this type of wound didn't contribute to the deceased's death, we're still required to record it.
Okay.
We're not in frost season yet, but high humidity, wind, and the inability to warm up can also be causes of frost. If Toby's body was cold for a prolonged period, the frostbite could have resulted from the body's defense reaction. The safety of the internal organs is more important than fingers, nose, or ears. As you can see, we don't have much to go on. Let's write down what preliminary causes of death we can think of.
I mean, that's a whack to the head, right?
Various types of accidents are a common cause of death among the homeless and the elderly. Perhaps old Toby slipped and accidentally hit his head. This is of no interest to us.
It'll be the
Considering
advanced
conditions in which he
frostbite.
slept, his body may
Or a
have
fall.
become hypothermic.
Or a combination.
The nights have been particularly nasty lately. We will check if there are any signs of freezing internally.
It did sound like you tried to start a fire beforehand.
Alcohol, I'll add alcohol poisoning to our list.
Put down the clipboard and continue.
We still have one thing left from the basics. Rigor mortis.
Perform the rigor mortis examination.
We take our deceased by the hand.
Okay.
Gradually we raise it.
What's happening here? Oh, so I go like up, down.
Now let it go. As you can see, the hand falls loose. What's the conclusion? Death must have occurred more than 72 hours ago. The police information appears correct.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
Head trauma seems the most promising, so we'll start there.
Select the skull saw and open the cranium.
Saw.
Oh boy.
The cut is made from ear to ear.
Heads up, gang. So I've got to keep it between this triangle. We've managed to gamify the autopsy process.
After which, we remove the skin and the top of the skull.
Holy moly, that's a brain. Begin a thorough brain analysis by examining the... Oh, just fucking pop it out!
We can see that the brain's cerebral gyri in both hemispheres are symmetric. The brain looks good. Let's take a cross-section.
Okay.
Some pathologists prefer to examine organs without removing them. However, for me, it's much more convenient to examine them on a board, which we'll do now.
Okay. So, we will go over to the head. Dissect the brain at the the cutting board, sorry. Oh, here we go.
Holding a long, narrow blade knife in the dominant hand, we slowly cut the cranial nerves on both sides, all the time pulling the brain towards us.
Okay, so we've got to be like really fine with our slices. I've got to move the mouse like really minute.
So far, so good.
Ah, stunning.
The hematoma seems to have had no effect on the brain.
Okay. Return to the autopsy. Let's take a look at the
Rule
old
the fatal
clipboard.
accident out as well.
So he didn't take any bash to the brain. Freezing might be a good shout. Exclude
Brain's
fall.
in good condition.
Fall is
We
done.
have no choice but to proceed to the internal examination of the other organs.
Oh boy. Okay, let's do it.
I grab a scalpel from my kit.
Scalpel time. Tab for open tools.
The
Scalpel.
incision should be in the shape of a letter Y. We use a deep cut to reach all the way to the ribs and to penetrate the abdominal wall.
Oh god. Oh, I'm doing a very bad job at this.
Alright.
There we go.
Now we peel back and separate the skin.
With an empty hand, peel back the skin flaps. Can we... There we go. Skin flaps opened up. Good God.
Now, we need to remove the ribs. We'll need the loppers for this.
The loppers. Okay.
Quite a satisfying crunch, for some anyway. After removing the cartilage tissue, we instantly notice two things.
His lungs are
Firstly,
goosed.
there is no congestion of the internal organs. This means that although the deceased was hypothermic, it didn't kill him. Secondly, the deceased smoked like a chimney. So,
Yeah.
we should take a closer look at those lungs.
Okay, so begin a thorough
You can
analysis.
see widespread black and tarry deposits caused by smoking cigarettes. Despite the tragic condition of the lungs, they are not the cause of death. Alice smoked too. It didn't kill her, but... what was I talking about?
Oh God.
Lungs. Yes. Advanced inflammation.
So yeah, we can mark the damage to the lung on the clipboard. Did I do that? what's happening. Let's see. Okay. Ah, there we go. Cool, so the lungs are like not the cause, but yeah. Cool. What next?
What now?
Take the syringe.
Now's a good time to... Specifically 3. From the eye, the heart, and the bladder. Vitreous humor analysis is very useful in indicating long-term alcohol abuse.
So we've got 1 syringe.
From the left ventricle should do it.
We have 2 syringe. And we have
Left on the bladder,
3 syringe.
we draw about 10 milliliters of fluid. Now we take our samples to the centrifuge. But before I do that, I need to find my notebook. My dyscalculia means that I always double-check the settings. Please excuse me while I run and fetch it.
Okay, back to the office. Retrieve the notebook. It's got to be somewhere here. Not there. Not there. Oh, there's a notebook.
Covered in stains. I should check this out under the microscope sometime.
Ugh. What's he been doing with that notebook?
Let's get back to the examination.
Okay, here we go.
All of the samples into the rotor.
Nice.
Now, we set the appropriate time and speed.
So the notes are presence of alcohol in the blood, 15 minutes at 70%. So, sorry, what was that? That was 15 minutes at 70%. That's 15, I think. Doesn't line up exactly. And then
let's roll.
70%. Let's do it. Cool. I'm glad that he's still dead.
Oh shit. The fuses again.
Oh fuck. No, okay.
My own but trusted centrifuge. Ideal for all the fluid tests.
I'm pretty sure I just saw a face at that window there.
The blood alcohol concentration.
What the fuck?
Let's see what we've got here.
I'm not sure if this is just an autopsy game or if it's also a horror. It's probably also a horror. I should have read this on Steam.
It should. Our lab is closed until tomorrow after the last, incident. However, considering that Toby's favorite eau de parfum appears to be ethanol, I'm guessing the results won't surprise me at all.
Okay.
Let's go further. We will now focus on the cardiovascular system, specifically the heart. We remove the organ and examine it closely. We look for dark hypoxic areas, clots, or other elements that stand out as abnormal.
I mean, it kind of looks alright. Dark areas, I mean, there's none there.
At first glance, the heart looks fine.
Yeah.
The pulmonary trunk and aorta seem to be in good condition. There are no pathological changes that would have contributed to Toby's death.
Okay.
Now let's take a closer look at the stomach. Size is normal, healthy, pink color, and as expected, the stomach has no major external damage. We must now cut it open and inspect inside.
Oh, great.
We will do it carefully so that its contents do not spill out.
Okay, to the cutting board. We're chopping up a stomach.
We open the stomach along the greater curvature, from the heart to the pyloric end.
Okay, up we go.
I already feel like there's something left
Down
inside.
we go. Up we go. Down we go. See, this is easy. Up we go. There.
Okay, large amount of gas.
Ugh.
Small amounts of yellow, grayish food content, resembling some kind of meat. Either our deceased hadn't eaten in days, or the bulk of his stomach had already found a way out. Looks like I'll have to find the missing contents.
Okay.
There are two ways here. One is obvious, and the other is... It couldn't have been suffocation, could it? I'll add this to the list and move on to the deceased's neck.
Be like being sick? Begin a thorough trachea analysis by examining the organ.
The trachea looks normal. Same result as with the stomach. The external inspection doesn't tell us anything. This time we'll cut on a tray.
We'll cut on a tray.
While cutting such a small organ as the trachea, we must make a precise incision.
Okay.
To be able to cut with the very tip of the blade, we must hold the scalpel as we would a pen.
Okay, that's one side.
And
there we go.
Careful examination and deduction, we've got it. A clogged trachea. It's time to summarize the whole thing.
So, he choked on his own sick.
Based on the report and preliminary documentation, it's safe to assume that the deceased passed out after consumption of alcohol and then fell asleep on his back.
Lovely.
Then, the gastric contents refluxed and flooded the airways, causing death.
Not the main cause of death. Asphyxiation.
Forget about the recovery position at dorm parties.
Haha. Decide the approximate manner. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Manner of death. Ah, okay, so I'm guessing it was an accident. Natural suicide unknown, or how is it? Nah, it's an accident.
Now it's all clear. The death was suffocation. Now, signature.
You write your own signature.
The mystery is solved. But for us,
that was my attempt at I've not practiced my AyeforScotland signature because I don't normally sign things off as I. There we go. Perfect. Stunning. That's
for this,
excellent.
We will need to close the body and grab the needle. First, we unroll the skin flaps. And then we sew the deceased back up. I'm using the baseball stitch technique. This stitching method is very strong and quick to do.
Okay. I'm the fastest stitcher in the West.
Beautiful.
Leave the body.
Now we say goodbye to the deceased and put them safely in the fridge, ready for the next stage of their journey.
Okay. I don't know if I was like, surely you don't just like fireman's lift them or something like that.
These samples off at the lab on the way to the bar.
Head to your car in the parking lot. Damn. This guy's got some demons.
I don't feel like drinking alone today.
Oh. All right. Let's see what this is. Well, we'll see. I'm guessing this is his wife. Or not. It's a it's a skeleton. Okay, this is fine. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him. Oh, fuck. You know, you never actually get to see what the underside of a skull looks like all that much. Oh, no. Horrifying. Oh, God. What is it like? Skulls are quite hard, right? That can't be comfy to, like, lie on. Reminds me of Gimli in Return of the King when he, like, every step he takes has, like, the crunch of the skulls when they're in the mountain. This is really fucking weird. kind of liked how thorough that was. That was quite compelling. Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Forgive me.
Oh.
What?
Oh, don't leave your spaghetti and meatballs on the floor.
What a dream.
Come on, man.
Fuck.
You have a side table. At least put it there if you're not gonna... Ah, it's disgusting. Right, folks, I think with that, I am going to wrap up there. That was the prologue to Autopsy Simulator. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely looks like a game that'll be fun for me to actually stream later on. I'm streaming it later on today. I'm going to be putting this video up at like 5 o'clock, so you've got a couple of hours, and then you can catch me playing it on stream on Twitch. Which I'll drop the link for in the thing below. But yeah, that's another preview. Hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing you next time. Catch you in a bit, folks. Bye bye.